Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Mayan Speedplay number 17. We left off at war with some portions of China. We have 13,000 men that we can bring over to reinforce, and once we get them all there, first of all we're going to have to build more transports because we have lost a few just due to oversights. Once we do get those additional forces there though, we will be able to just recommit to our invasion of mainland China. We had cut that off because we had underestimated the strength of the Chinese. Hopefully we will not do that again. We do go ahead and just get our army over. We have to deal with managing our estates, which has so far gone fairly well, although we haven't been able to get all three estates to love us at the same time. Not that it is entirely necessary to do so, however. We do go ahead and load up all of our forces and bring them straight over to you, where it looks as though someone else beat us to the punch and has taken over their capital, the only fort we could actually siege out. Which is a bit unfortunate. We do go ahead and start piecing out their allies. Worst case, we can just leave a force here to maintain control over the area. Alternatively, we could go to war with some of their allies. They do appear to be in a larger war around themselves, although everyone else is still willing to join on their side. We do have probably one of the largest armies we've actually built up, however, so unfortunately we can't just attack them like that, but we will declare this war. Now, it does bring in a massive amount of China, but hopefully we'll be able to just seize control over all of Yu's territory, hopefully just annex them, and then work on getting rid of Min, and from there getting rid of the Green country who we actually did declare the war against. And already we are making considerable progress in that light. We do go ahead and split our forces up. It looks like they are willing to attack us though, and the French have attacked us as well, which really puts that entire plan on hold. Now, honestly, I should have expected that the French would attack us. They really have been consistently attacking us every few years, which is terribly, terribly unfortunate for us. We do go ahead and build two armies. We also try to reinforce this battle. Unfortunately, it looks as though we do not have the technological superiority I had anticipated that we would, even with our new Tech 19 for military. So that is a terrible burden. We do go ahead and split our army up into two groups. We will rush the larger group back home and hopefully keep the smaller group still nearby. Unfortunately, it looks like they just sank and all died, which is another terrible, terrible oversight. We're just going to have to abandon this war in Asia. Now, we could potentially manage to pull it through, but it would take such a large commitment of men and materiel that we would lose the war against the French, which is obviously much, much more vital for our national survival. So we leave an additional 2,000 men behind, manage our estates a little bit. We go ahead and hire a new general who will hopefully do at least decently well. We lost another battle just with our navy in the south, although the French still haven't moved their massive clump of exiled forces away from us, which is pretty fantastic actually. It means that they might potentially just lose the war due to an amazingly terrible AI blunder and oversight. And these are all Iron Man mode settings, by the way. We can get achievements in this game. So that is like not even the fault of my texture mods or anything. That is just some oversight in the game that we're just going to have to deal with and accept, provided they don't go and pick those troops up. At any rate, we do go ahead and just start divvying up our forces to siege out the French colonial nations, since they don't actually have enough military force nearby to really conclude the war favorably for themselves. I think an issue for the AI might be that there is no directly French-controlled areas on the continent, so they might be trying to ship their navy over to rescue those troops, like one clump at a time or something. I honestly couldn't tell you, though. What I can say is that our armies are doing a lot better than they probably should, since they're not facing as much opposition as they almost certainly really should in any instance. That being said, we do go ahead and just rush over. We've sieged out the first French colonial nation. We will go move against the other right now. Another thing to be aware of is the only reason we hadn't attacked Haiti and instead attacked China is because Haiti is allied to the French, and they would intervene and murder us. And now they don't really have that ability. We also do go ahead and get ready to make peace with you. The reason we had not done that is because now all these other Chinese countries we're at war with will just kind of roll on in and probably just take those provinces back from us and then get a lot of war score against us, and it'll just be a pain, and we'll probably have to make some minor concessions. At any rate, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that we get out of that war and hopefully end our desire for peace, call for peace, all of that. We are continuing to colonize the Pacific coast, which is great. We will hopefully shore up our control over North America if this war goes favorably, which it seems as though it will, provided that the French do not actually release their army into the wilds. We do have some considerable naval elements nearby. We can attach all of our Pacific fleets and then just travel into the Atlantic with them, and from there attack the Haitians. Since there's really nothing preventing us at that point, we are at something like 30 to 40% overextension, which is terribly unfortunate for us. However, we can't really do very much about that while we are unable to make peace with the Chinese states. So, admittedly, I once again underestimated the Chinese. We do also win a naval battle, sinking quite a few French transports, which may very well have been going to rescue their navy. Why they're going such a circuitous route, or rescue their army, why they're going by such a circuitous route, I could not tell you. However, who's really to say? We also do risk the nobility seizing control, but we have something like 100 months to deal with that, so I'm not going to be worried about it right now. I don't want to just mess with our estates and potentially lose the loyalty of the nobility while we're in a war. Now, I do take a look at some of the options. However, the only things we could do would be to knock it below the 85% influence, and also in the process knock it below 10% of our territory, which would then just drain their appreciation for us in a war, which I do not really want to do. So we're just going to hope that we can remember that before the 100 months are up. We do also send an army back to put a general with siege in charge. You'll notice we are at war with the Haitians now, simply because it's something that we can probably pull off. The French aren't really doing very much against us, and our armies, I have enough confidence in them to just destroy the Haitians. Our navy is just dominant in the Atlantic right now. We have combined our entire force and proven that we can defeat the French navy mano a mano. We've also defeated Chinese navies. Our navy is really going to be the strength of the Americas. Unfortunately, it looks like the Haitians managed to get some troops down into South America. I'm just going to focus on sieging them out right now, since their forts are just ridiculously high level, 6 and 7 respectively, to really nothing since I didn't lead into that, but on Cuba and Haiti, 6 and 7 respectively. There we go. So anyway, we're going to just siege out their countryside. Hopefully that'll lower their war enthusiasm at least a bit. It looks as though we may have to deal with rebellions all throughout the former French-controlled territories, which we have seized, not sieged, although we've done both. Hopefully we'll be able to get peace with the Chinese. They do want us to give lands back to the British, however the British just declared war on us. So yeah, that's not ideal. We do go ahead and raise additional troops since we are really just bogged down in the Haitian territories. We have a lot of rebellions to deal with, and none of our wars are really going all that well. We are also not winning quite so well. We do get an offer for peace. It would give the British one territory. We do go ahead and just accept that since we can just take that territory back and we still have a core on it. So really, as far as things go, that isn't too big of a loss. We also are now able to core the other Chinese province we had taken. We did have to give the other away, though. We'll hopefully be able to retake the French casus belli against us from the rebels, and then get our war score advantage back against the French. Our navy is still dominant, despite the fact that we're fighting really every power with a navy in the Atlantic other than ourselves, because obviously we wouldn't be fighting ourselves as well. More rebels, all of the peasant rebels, which have just constantly risen up in colonial nations that we're occupying, to my infinite chagrin. We also managed to finish one siege in Cuba, so we can hopefully get those forces to really just put out literally any of these fires, just constantly raging out of control. And once we manage to do that, we have retaken the one colonial nation of the French. There is a British 13 colonial army roving around that we have to deal with. The Brazilians are fighting the other Brazilians, so that's great for us. And yeah, hopefully the Brazilians will deal with the British while we clean up North America. And then we will be able to go down into South America and clean up the Haitians, make peace with them. We're probably going to have to deal with peasant rebels in the 13 colonies. However, the most important thing is that we don't deal with actual British armies, which could go ahead and just siege through our own territories and become a tremendous problem there. There's also French Floridian separatists up here in the north because Florida expanded all the way up here. So we're going to just ship all of these forces over, also hopefully destroying these hodgepodge 13 colonies armies, which are just roving around being slightly problematic. The Haitians also being problematic, but we're taking care of the major fortresses and we are taking control over the countrysides, and those are the two most important things. As our forces are dealing with all of these issues, just putting out those fires, more are popping up, but not to such a considerable extent. We are also hemorrhaging a bit of money. We did have to take a loan, probably another as well. We have finished all of these sieges, however the Haitians control enough of our territory that they're not really all that keen on giving up right now. Luckily we destroyed part of their navy, and we'll be able to chase them down through South America, basically right now. Also, it appears as though we're at war with Vinland and Iceland because they are allies of the French, which is somewhat interesting and not what I anticipated. So we're not going to peace out with the French until A, we peace out with the Haitians, since they are still allied to the French and we want to clean that up. And B, we are going to have to move in and take back Vinland, or take Vinland and Iceland. Also Iceland formed, that's an interesting point. We also have full diplomatic monarch power right now. I look at various diplomatic ideas we could take, but can't really decide on any, so we just take a tech. Alright though, so the most important thing is that we actually have terribly messed up right now, and the nobility has seized power because we never remembered to lower that. We're going to just end this episode right here for today on a slightly negative note, but come back tomorrow with more as we continue ever onwards with our Mayan Empire. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.